Hello there, Shannon West here, back with another video, and I hope you are excited about creating, and that's why you're watching this video today. I am so excited to demonstrate this American flag card for you today because I love American things, I love patriotic things, and I love watercoloring. So I'm merging all of those together in this amazing card, and I hope you enjoy. I'm starting off with a piece of watercolor paper that has been cut, let's see, 5 inches by 3 3/4, so a 1/2 inch inside of a regular card base, a regular card, and this will be my flag. And the American flag has 50 stars and 13 stripes, so I'm not going to be able to fit that much on it because I'm just considering this more of like an abstract flag, not an exact replica. This is just Versamark re-inker, or I think sometimes it's called Watermark ink refill, and so I'm going to use that to create some stars up here in the corner. And I don't know if you'll be able to really see these that much until I emboss and put the watercolor wash with ink over the top, but hopefully you can at least see what I'm doing. So I'm going to do 6 stars up here in this upper left corner, and I can't see it perfectly either, so I kind of have to hold it up to the light and make sure that I'm getting it pretty good. And you don't have to be super fast about this as long as you've got enough ink on my paintbrush. My paintbrush is a water painter, so it is wet, but the water was pretty much out of it. And then these middle ones I kind of did a little bit higher just to fit them together better. There we go, that's a good angle for me to be able to see. Okay, one more. So like I said, by me saying this is an abstract card, takes the pressure off from having it to be perfect. So it's going to be, you'll get the idea. As I've been noticing, like just all the different flags around, like on people's clothes and stuff, they're all different shapes and sizes of stars and stripes. So I thought this would work just fine. Okay, so I've got those 6 stars and my clear embossing powder. And I think you could probably emboss or, do white too, but I just chose to do clear. So now let's heat that up. Okay, that looks nice and shiny. Perfect. Now we're ready to do the watercoloring. This card is actually pretty simple, and I think it is just so, let's see, I'm struggling with my embossing powder, and I need the lid on tight, otherwise we could have serious problems. There we go. So this is a pretty simple card, and I think it is just kind of amazing for how simple it is. I've got Night of Navy, and I went with Cherry Cobbler for the red. The reason for that was if you use real red, sometimes when you watercolor with real red, depending on how much water you use, it might end up looking pink. So to combat that potential problem, I thought I'll just go with Cherry Cobbler. And then I'll do a test before I put it on the card just to make sure the color is about right. Because then the problem becomes putting enough water instead of too much. Okay, so a little box up here in the corner, and you can wet it down first if you want, or just do the straight color. Both work, and you don't even have to perfectly have the box there. Okay, now I'm looking at that. I think that's actually a little too light. So I'm going to add another drop and add some more intense Night of Navy because I don't want there to be any question what color this is. Woo, that looks cool, doesn't it? Yeah, that's amazing. And it's kind of like soaking up in the stars differently, so it helps to get a little tissue and dab away at the color because it's soaking into the card really well. So it looks good. Maybe we can test that and see how that's looking. Okay, it's looking cool. Now I've got a little bit like kind of, let's put a little bit of dark back in there and see. I mean, I don't want it to be a solid color. Otherwise I would have just used Night of Navy cardstock, but I want to make sure it's pretty intense. Okay, so now I need to rinse out my brush. Unless you have two water painters that are this size or a bigger brush, you'll need to rinse out your brush all the way before we add cherry cobbler. Otherwise you'll end up with purple on your when you mix the two. And that'll give this portion of the card an opportunity to dry so that once we watercolor with the red, it won't bleed too much. Moving on to the red stripes now. My brush is clean. Let me see, what did that? Yeah, my brush is clean. I'm ready to go. So here's the thing about the red stripes on an American flag. The red is at the top and the bottom. And also I want it to go on the stripe under here. So I've kind of thought about how thick I want to make my red stripes. So I'm not going to make them quite as thick as this. I'm going to just be a little bit careful. Okay, let's test out this red and make sure it's red. Okay, looks good. So this top one I'm going to make not quite a full stripe. And I might get a little bit of bleeding because the Night of Navy portion isn't completely dry, but it is mostly dry. So it should be pretty good. Okay, swipe along the bottom there. Now I need one more stripe in between here before the bottom. And that can be a partial. Okay, so now I've done that first swipe through. And I could go back and add a little bit more right there, but I think I'm just going to leave it because, you know, more in like the vein of being a little more abstract. We'll just let it go as is. Ooh, so cute. Okay, I'm going to close that up and do a little bit of drying before we move on. So I've selected a Night of Navy card base, and it looks like I forgot to score that beforehand, but I've got my bone folder. So it should be fine. Just score that down like so. And ooh, this is feeling dry. Definitely dry enough to attach to the card. So let's adhere that. And because it's about a 1/2 inch smaller than a card size, then you see that nice frame of the Night of Navy around the edges. Oh, that's looking so cool. I love it. So I love, yeah, I mean, the stripes are all, the stripes are actually a little more perfect than the stars. So when you do yours, you can be a little more messy with your stripes, or I even thought of trying the wavy stripes, but I haven't done that yet because the stars are difficult to get perfect. So just embrace that and do like just a little more abstract look with that. This is some silver cord, so I'm just going to do 4 or so wraps around my fingers and then get a little spot of adhesive there, and then I'll just flip this around like that and stick that down to the card. This is going to go behind my greeting, so hopefully there will be enough layers there to of the adhesive to get that all stuck down. It's kind of wild. That's okay. And then the last step is I've cut out this label. This is the one with the Stylish Shapes labels. And I'm going to stamp from the Splendid Thoughts stamp set. I'll stamp Let's Celebrate. Okay, yeah, with this one, it's always best to stamp first, but I was trying to be efficient for the video. Let's try that again. Better, so that's perfect. Let's see if we can get that stuck down to our card and hold all of those cords in place. So obviously I want it to stick out from behind a bit. See if we can get that one tail to flip over this way and be across there. There we go. Cute, cute. Make sure we've got enough of those, that silver sticking out. It's kind of a little bit of a mini wrestling match. Okay. And the final step is to add just a bit of bling. So I'm just going to throw down a couple of, these are the iridescent rhinestones on some of these just fun spots. Highlight some of the different areas. And that is it. So there you go, my version of a watercolored, abstract, fun Independence Day card. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye-bye.